welcome to another episode of the Women's Rugby Pod. Hope everybody's okay out there in these extraordinary times yet again that we find ourselves, but hopefully we're just going to spread a bit of positivity into your week. With what's coming up on the show, we've got a brilliant guest for you. She's represented her country not in 1, 2, 3, but 4 sports. Lindsay Peat, off the back of Railway Union, lifting the league title over in Ireland, is on the pod in just a couple of minutes' time. We must just say huge congratulations to Scotland qualifying for the World Cup. They produced a resounding performance, didn't they? Beating Colombia 59-3 in Dubai, ensuring their qualification into the World Cup later this year in New Zealand, into Pool A, alongside New Zealand, the hosts, of course, Australia and Wales. And huge congratulations to Spain for winning the Rugby Europe Women's Championship over the weekend, beat the Netherlands last week, and Russia at the weekend to lift the title, their 9th title and their 6th in a row. Yeah, huge congratulations to them. It was an emotional day because Patricia Garcia, after 43 caps in 15s and a huge amount of 7s events, has finally hung up her international boots. The Exeter star, yeah, it was all about her. Brilliant performance from her and her Spanish team, and what a way to go out lifting up yet another title. As I say, got Lindsay Peat on the pod, who's always brilliant value, always great fun. Here she is. It is a great pleasure, as it always is. Friend of the pod rejoins us after a victorious weekend. Lindsay Peat, how the devil are you? Always a treat.
Well, thank you very much for having me on, Mr. Hammond. It is a good week. All-Ireland champion as I sit in front of you with my club Railway Union. So it's always a good week when you're sitting there winning. Yeah,
well, I mean, it's always a question as to what sport we're going to speak to you about, because you're such a champion of so many different sports. But no, this week is rugby. Following, of course, you're part of the victorious Railway Union side that put 24 points on Blackrock College. They're 18. I've said that in a very roundabout way, but anyway, your 2nd ever league title. And let's talk about the win first. Must have been absolutely, but we'll talk about the quality of the game in just a second. But let's just talk about the win. It looked as though you properly meant that, and it meant a huge amount to you and the rest of the squad. Must have been a great feeling.
Yeah, I think the world has suffered overall with the pandemic, and there's been at times very little to be joyous about. Everything was on hold, and obviously after the heartbreak for ourselves personally with some of the internationals after missing out on the World Cup, we came back to club with arms open, and a lot of people who loved and supported us throughout that time who were suffering their own setback with no club rugby. So to come back and join the club, who have been plugging away with very limited time and resources, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to win it with some special people and people who are trying to drive the game and develop new players. And it's always for the parish and the local and the club. And look, they've been so good to us, especially me, and so many more. So it was, for many reasons, it was a very special win. And we did win it, our first one back in 2019. The last time the final was actually up and running.
Yeah.
And to win it again against a very exceptionally good Blackrock team is always even better.
Where we go, there are all those different motivations within there, but there does seem to be a really lots of Irish rugby, a real sense of you're playing for that community, for that parish. That's obviously very strong at Railway Union.
Yeah, it is. You come in, and like any club, I suppose the personality has to fit, and what we have there as well is a very competitive kind of player group, and there were some players who missed out in the final who were very heartbroken, but everyone who've been training, like we'd have over 30 training every Tuesday and Thursday and Monday for skills, so everyone played their part to getting this win last week. So though they weren't part of the match day squad and the high bench, there was so many players that you could name that played an integral part in getting the team ready, and that's on top of the coaching staff, the S&C and everything. And it was the first time actually the women's club finals were on the telly, so TG Carr showed it, which is a huge boost. Obviously, our interprovincials were also shown, thanks to Vodafone getting behind. So we've a lot of big names trying to help push us as well, which is, as you know, Johnny, it's huge. It's huge to market the game and as a product and the players and expose that. And I was chatting to Donegal O'Callaghan, the great Irish legend himself, and he said his kids watched it. He watched 8 games of rugby over the weekend, and it was one of the standout games for him. And that's heartwarming, and you're doing something right. So as much as the win was meant so much, such feedback and people enjoying the game was just meant just as much to us. So his kids didn't turn off Saturday night takeaway, so that was huge. We won that battle, so it's always a milestone.
Honestly, we got Higgins and Pete. Who needs Anton Deck?
There you go.
It's simple as that.
What more could you ask for? Did you see our scrum? Some of our scrums were unreal, so I was delighted.
No, absolutely. I mean, let's get a bit noisy about it. We'll bypass you dropping names and celebrities in there. We'll just move on to.
Sorry, they're friends. They're friends. How dare you?
Wow, I mean, the celebrities are friends as well. I mean, that's even worse. We're getting noisy about it. Raced out to a decent lead despite. There's 2 yellow cards. You got 2 yellow cards in the game.
Oh God, we did, yeah. We did,
yeah. So I mean, you haven't done it particularly easily, but race out to a decent lead at half.
I better not drop the names of those who got the yellow cards, because you know what, I have had a season 3 of yellow cards, so it's always nice not to have my name on that list.
But yeah, 14-8 at half time, then obviously you both put another 10 points out. Yeah, that second half was exceptional. A couple of tries, Ultra Hughes and Eve Higgins was player of the match. Do you feel at any point that the crown was slipping?
Yeah, there was a kind of a period just after the yellow card where, I think Blackrock got a sniff of a chance and they'd scored their final try off a maul. Yeah. And they were really kind of knocking at the door of our try line, and our defence was exceptional. And then we got a really good turnover. I think Blackrock might have gone off their feet seeing the ruck, so we were kind of lucky. But to be honest, as much as we were under pressure, and I knew the calibre the players Blackrock had, I knew we could match them, and the want and tenacity and the drive, and a couple of things went our way at pinnacle moments. I think, part of me was like, I think we're good. So, but you never take final for granted, because actually we'd played them in the league and we were winning all the way up, and they got kind of one of the league games after Christmas, and we're winning all the way through, and then ended up losing by a last minute try by them. So they're an exceptional team, and I know they will be back, and there's probably future trophies in them, hopefully not at our expense, but yeah, they're an exceptional opponent, and I do wish them very hard luck, but obviously delighted with our win.
Yeah, of course. You mentioned first time televised. That was really important. And it's some exceptional, like your close friend Donico saying, some exceptional rugby. I was chatting to Jay-Z about it the other day, and.
Oh, I thought you were very good friends with Dr. Dre, actually. I didn't know you knew Jay-Z as well. I'll pick up a few more names and I'll get them out.
But no, generally, the quality of the rugby was absolutely, brilliant. And a real... Is there a sense amongst you players for all the sort of shadowy times that Irish rugby's been in, women's rugby's been in for the last couple of years, and it's certainly breaking through that now, and we'll possibly just move on to a bit of Six Nations and Ireland after this, but is there a sense you just need to play some really, really good rugby? Do you know, actually just continue what you've been doing for the last few years? Is it spoken about, we've really got to go out and perform and entertain?
I think that's what we want. You have to improve the skill set, but I think, sport is about the excitement and the spectacle, and, watching people do things that normal humans, everyday humans can't do or dream of doing, and to see that in the, on the spotlight and up on the stage it should be on is great. And I think, like, I'm going over the game here now with you, and I can see, a turning point for us in the game was we got a scrum penalty, I think around there, 22. Was a turning point for us. I think our last try was exceptional. It went through hands. We'd a line break. We'd an
Through the
offload.
middle,
We'd
yeah.
another offload. It
Offload,
was
offload.
exceptional
Yeah.
rugby. Yeah, and it was exciting. And I think we've seen that with the Irish men's team. Some of the rugby they've been playing is exciting. It suits us. We're not the biggest nation. You know, we've a big heart. We've a big chip on our shoulder that we will fight above our weight. But we probably have to match our skill set and our athleticism compared to maybe some bigger, more aggressive, maybe nations. So we have to suit our style, and I think that's maybe something from what I've heard from the girls that Greg is just heads up rugby. He likes to move the ball. So we want to match that, and yeah, we want to make it exciting for people because we want to buy it in. You know, we want to make a product of it. But we want to we want to showcase our skill set. We want to showcase ourselves as athletes. So yeah, I think it'll be a great spectacle. I think the game of women's rugby is growing at a rate of knots, and we don't want to miss out on that either. We want to be up there performing as everyone else is, and though we will miss out on a World Cup, it's going to be a tough year for everybody on many levels. I probably will be there sobbing like everyone else. But you know, we definitely have this Six Nations window to hopefully remind people that we're an absolutely exceptional team with exceptional players, and we're not, though we won't be on the biggest stage this year. Later on in the year, we're not gone anywhere, and we'll be back better for it, hopefully.
Yeah. How much of a driving factor was that amongst both teams? Do you get a sense of that? Obviously, in your
I think
changing room, but
yes.
theirs as well.
Well, I think as athletes, you know, and as players, and though we're amateur, we're very professional about how we go about things, and you know, the qualification and missing out on the World Cup is still raw, still a scar we'll carry, but it's a scar that should remind us that they're the bad times that drive us to make sure we've better times, and that's what you have to do with anything, whether it's work or life or anything that's a setback. You have to kind of take it, heal from it, but use that to motivate you to push on for better days. And that's what I hope we can do as players, as management, as a union, and work together collectively to drive that on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was an utterly absorbing final. How absorbing was the night out afterwards?
Listen, it's Thursday. I think I'm starting to come around to the land of the living.
Decent celebration then.
Yeah, look, good people. A great final. You come through the other end. As I said, it's been 2 years of very little rugby, very little time to actually bond and enjoy the celebrations, or enjoy any happy time. So look, we just took the cup, we stuck together, had a couple of drinks, sing song, bit of a dance, and yeah, all good.
And read into that, ladies and gentlemen, that is what goes on tour stays on tour. Straight back. No, I'm not telling you any more details, Johnny. Simple as that. That's what that answer is. And I don't blame you in the slightest. Um,
You know the lay of the land. No,
yeah, but being around it long enough to know. No, absolutely. No, we touched on Ireland there and the rawness of that World Cup. You have hung your international boots up now. Um, Happy with that decision? I mean, you're getting your boots on and you're still winning club games and what have you. Do you think, oh, do you know what? Six Nations is just there. I could, you know.
yeah, I would. No, it's good.
It was right.
Yeah, it was right. It's the right time. I know it's right. I know I will really struggle to watch the girls not be out there and sing our Anavine and Ireland's call and being a nuisance and celebrating scrum penalties and tries and wins and everything else. But I think it's time for a new generation of excellent players to come through and showcase what they can do. And I'll be just the mad fan now in the stand roaring them on and texting them big emotional big emotional probably pep talks wishing I was there. But I think, yeah, I'm at peace with it. It will be hard, especially for this first Six Nations, but I'll be their number one fan. I know this team, know I'm behind them 100% and wish them every luck.
And how do you think? Are you going to get to the games? Are you going to be behind the sofa? Are you going to completely and utterly ignore it and just keep an eye on social media? How do you think you're going to be there in fully green, face paints, all the rest of it?
No, I'm going to be in my jersey, shorts, and socks.
Are you
standing for the anthem, singing it? And
oh, John Terry, good.
Yeah, I'll put the headband on as well and really go all out. To be
Full
honest.
tape.
Yeah, I'll just basically do what I normally do, except I'll be in possibly my living room or in the stand or whatever. So no, I hope to get to all the games this year. We're kind of doing bit like the Red Roses spreading the love around Ireland. So it'll be the RDS, Musgrave Park, and up to Kingspan. So we'll get to spread it and expose the game to different areas of Ireland, and hopefully that'll really stand to us and win some new fans over. And so yeah, anyone who's listening and is in any of those locations, please come along and support.
Look at her still trumpeting away. Mega. Do you know Greg McWilliams at all? If not, have you been hearing some rumblings? I mean, I'm so impressed with the appointments. Neve Briggs coming in. There's been national talent IDs, and I think just yesterday put together a few names that have come through that talent ID. Do you get a real sense that there's some just massively positive steps coming through?
Yeah, I don't know Greg personally, but I know he was involved in a very successful period previously, and then he's obviously worked with the USA 7, so his CV has huge experience and wealth of knowledge. And I did have a little stalk on his Instagram, and he seems a really, really good guy, a great singer, and very personable. So I think I always think that you could have, like, if we look at Guardiola at Man City, I don't know if you follow soccer, I think to manage all those egos, and this isn't reflective of the team he has, but to manage people the way he does and get the best out of City and be so unbeaten, I think one of the key for me in my experience in my sporting career is the coach has to be exceptional people person to be able to facilitate the people being the best athlete they can be. And I do think from what I've heard of Greg, he could be the man for this. And again, that's no reflection on any previous coach, but just the time he's coming over and the hurt and everything else that's gone forward, I think he's going to be a good man for the job. And I certainly wish him and Neve and all the coaching staff the very best of luck. And he did get a voice. He actually got a video off me to wish him the best of luck at the start of the campaign. So I'm not sure how he took that, but he responded. So
there you are.
I do genuinely, I wish him and obviously all the girls every luck going into the Six Nations.
Yeah, and I know from 2014 we were staying at Marcosi, the French training camp, and he's a fabulous piano player and singer. And you have been in contact, listeners, because we spoke. Berth and I spoke about it in a couple of weeks, and he's going to come on the pod. I'm very keen to come on the pod and chat, but just need a few bits of news out of the way first, like these reviews and what have you. We're certainly not going to get into those today because that's boring. We're having a nice fun chat. The Six Nations then, on a sort of wider context then, Lindsay. The TikTok Women's Six Nations.
Yeah.
You almost sort of sporting their colours there, TikTok. Is that deliberate? With the pink and green there? Yes.
Yeah,
very TikTok,
isn't it? They're also friends of mine.
All right, they slammed the door on me, so I'm glad they're friends with you.
Well, they looked at your TikTok account. They were like, "Oh, sorry, John."
Yeah, exactly. Don't have one, so yeah, perfect.
Neither do I. Well, maybe me and you could do some TikToks.
Here you are.
There you go.
The over 32s TikTok account.
Yeah. 33s.
Yeah, sorry, apologies. Yeah, 33. But look, just the general that you branding out yesterday that you're made of that, but just generally, again, some more positivity around the women's game. How did that announcement of TikTok settle with you in terms of the wider aspect of the game?
I think obviously it's a huge media outlet that so many people use. So to have such a big ambassador behind the tournament and behind women's rugby is nothing but positive. The branding's exceptional. Again, anything that makes us stand out, like we'll see now the first full Six Nations in a window on its own, which is going to be huge. Super Saturday, all that goes around it that we're trying to align to really make the tournament special and own it ourselves. So I think TikTok, as I said, is huge. It's huge for the exposure and huge for what message it sends out to other sponsors. And just congratulations to them and Six Nations, and hopefully it's a long and successful partnership.
Look, if Rocky Clark could get involved, then there's hope for us all, isn't there?
Listen, Rocky Clark is legendary on and off the pitch, and her TikTok is
#prop love, apparently.
Prop love, all the love. Rocky is all the prop love from me to her. She's unbelievable.
I was working with her last weekend, which is a ski sock, a seamless segue to our next conversation. Patricia Garcia, just wanted to touch on a couple of the sort of newsy bits this week, as I've I've got you on. Patricia Garcia, sorry to bring up the World Cup qualifying game, but fabulous player, and 12-year career comes to an end.
Listen, I don't know Patricia Garcia personally, but I have to, from one retiree to another, I just want to congratulate her on an exceptional career. She's an exceptional player for what experience I've seen her. I got to play against her, yes, in the World Cup qualifiers, and she was pinnacle and played an integral part to Spain beating us that day. So, very smart player. Obviously lit up the seventh stage and has flown the Spanish flag with pride. And I wish her every success in her retired life. But the World of Rugby will miss her, both sevens and 15s.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Just one of those magnet type players, just absolute fulcrum for sevens and 15s. I mean, it's so obvious when you sort of broadcast them that, every time they look up from sort of inspiration, everybody's looking to, she was 12 where she was playing. It's immediately look to Patricia to see what she feels should be going on. Yeah, absolute fulcrum. Yeah, huge congratulations to everyone at the WRP for her career. What about your? Sorry to talk about the World Cup again, but it is the main news. We had the lovely Dr. Rachel Malcolm on last week. What a delightful lady she is. They breathed and went in Loughborough. She and Sunter on together. They're great company. Brilliant for Scottish rugby. And again, Man Goose, who was involved with that 2014 Irish squad that we were talking about, sort of set all this in motion for Scotland. They seem like a really, really together bunch. We don't need to go into the details of why possibly that closeness has intensified over the last few months. That's fairly obvious. But I'm personally just delighted for them. They seem like a really cool bunch.
Do you know what? If you were to say one thing that I would have noticed about Scotland, it was just they were just galvanised. They were just so together. Yep. No matter how much we knocked on the door and tried to break them down, they were able to withstand it. And you could actually feel that off them in their celebrations. Just, not that they were just celebrating together. It was like no one else was there. It's very hard to articulate it, actually, but it was powerful. That's all I can say. It was powerful that day. And again, I think I'm actually delighted for them. I would know Jade from playing against her and a couple of them, and just want to send my congratulations to them. It's since 2010, I think they haven't been in a World Cup, and it'll be lovely to see them there, and I wish them every success. And I think if they can continue on with just that camaraderie and that powerful togetherness that they have going into the World Cup, I think they'll do hopefully some very, very special things. So on behalf of myself to Scottish Rugby, congratulations and every success in New Zealand.
And in a group with New Zealand, which is it's just cool being with a home union, you're going to get some really good crowds and interest in the games. Australia and Wales, so it's a pool they could do some damage in.
I think so. And you know what? I tell you, it's going to be some cracking games. It's going to be some cracking games considering all the movements within their unions. Wales obviously getting their 12 contracts, their retainer contracts. There's a good period in. Scotland look to do that now, hopefully. And then obviously New Zealand and Australia putting a lot of professionalism into their structures as well. So I'd hate to be in that group, but at the same time, it'd be exciting to see what rumblings and what there's always upsets in the World Cup, and I certainly think there's going to be one or two in that pool anyway.
Last two, Lindsay, if we may. I appreciate you eating into your lunch hour here. What's next for you? Apart from defeating certain people at certain trampoline parks.
Yeah, well, obviously my son beat me yesterday in a bit of a in jump zone, and we went on an obstacle. And not once, I was like, okay, he beat me once because I can't get through these nets. I'm a bit big. But anyway, he sculled through them. And then I said, right, that's it. I'm going hell for leather on this second go of it. And he still beat me. So, next week will be a showdown. And I will put that 6-year-old back in his box. But I don't know, really, to be honest. I'll finish. I think we're in a cup final with Railway in the end of March. I look forward to the Six Nations, and then I'll just take it one day at a time, to be honest, Johnny. I'm not going to make any rash decisions or panic. Just want to stay fit. Might pay a bit of GAA during the summer. Go back playing a bit of that just to keep fit. Staying with teams, and other than that, just enjoy day by day life and enjoying trampoline parks with my son.
Awesome. I mean, yeah, there you are, ladies. Oh, yeah, I'll just do it. Yeah, just to stay fit during the summer. And the weekends, I'll do some yak wrestling. That is Lindsay Peat for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Well,
She,
no, I could be
she's a
on,
champion at everything.
I could be on next week saying, right, I picked a sport for Paris 2024 in the Olympics, but for now you've caught me in a calm state.
Brilliant. And the last one I was just going to ask you, come on, Six Nations is literally weeks away. I genuinely hope you do go full kit and they pick you up on cameras in the stands, or I might even see you in the stands myself. But yeah, I really do hope.
Let me know what game you're going to, the Irish games, and I will be there. I might get over for England, Ireland. I'll go full kit. No
Would you
problem.
believe it? A broadcast schedule still not out there. So yeah, we're what 3 weeks away. So yeah, quite short. So I don't know the moment, but yeah, love to see that. Who's going to win it? Who's going to lift the cup?
I mean, I would be silly not to say it's going to come down to France and England. I don't see anyone right now beating England. I still think it's England's to lose more so than anything. But France in a World Cup year are always dangerous. I'll go with England.
She's going with England. And where are Ireland going to finish?
I'm going to go with third. I want us to finish third. But I can't lie, it's daunting thinking about 5 out of 6 of those teams going to the World Cup. And we're starting kind of realistically, we're starting a new cycle. Like we're really post World Cup as such now.
Yep.
So other unions was, we won't probably see that for other unions till the 2023 Six Nations, but we're probably seeing it possibly for ourselves now. Even though we've still exceptional players that are very experienced, but we need test games to kind of get new players ready, I would think. But that's up to Greg really. So my hope is really good performances, the girls enjoy it, and the best case we can look at, which I have fingers crossed for, is third. Finishing top 3 would be exceptional, for us.
Yeah, no, it's so exciting. Italy strong. We saw that World Cup qualifiers. Scotland, with the wind in their sails. Wales clearly sort of in a new dawn. Ireland as well. We know how strong England and France are. So yeah, it's none of these troubles the men's have with landslide victories and let's get the next best European team in. None of that rubbish. No, it's going to be full bore. And
what is exciting is the last round. Will if France and England win, that's the championship game. That could be an absolute cracker on the last day.
Yeah,
see who lifts it. So
yeah, it'd be awesome. Yeah. For the tournament itself, that would be amazing if that was sort of the Grand Slam game, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But we will see. Lindsay, thank you so much. Huge congratulations to adding another medal. Where do you keep all your medals? Is this sock drawer?
Yeah, just under the sink, really. No. Jesus, probably presses and drawers. I need to kind of organise that. But yeah, no, I keep them in a special medal drawer.
Special medal drawer. That is no doubt a very, very heavy and a very, very large drawer for all the achievements. And at the weekend with Railway Union, second ever league title, the All Ireland League. Congratulations to you and the rest of the team. Glad you're recovering slowly now, and really, really great to speak to you as ever. And I hope you enjoy the Six Nations.
I will. And listen, tell Jay-Z I was asking for him.
I will do. Say hi to Donica.
I will. Thank you so much for having me on.
Cheers, Izzy. You take care.
Bye-bye.
I'm Jane Conkle, and you're listening to the Women's Rugby Pod.
Great to have Lindsay on the pod again. She did a Six Nations special with us, I think, last year, and just find her utterly engaging and totally fascinating. I think, Sarah Hunter brought out that she was one of her most favourite guests on the pod. I think we did a Six Nations special last year, and just to represent your country at one sport is one thing, but 4 is just out of this world. And I love the fact she's still so competitive. She wants to beat her 6-year-old son at the trampoline park. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I'll be texting her tomorrow and asking if she managed to achieve that. But no, brilliant. Yeah, huge thank you to Lindsay Peat for giving up her time to come on the pod. How about the rest of the news from around the globe? You know who it is. It's Nandi Boutalese.
Thank you so much, Johnny. We do start off in Scotland, who qualify for the World Cup. And Scotland produced a resounding performance, beating Colombia 59-3 in Dubai and ensuring their qualification for the World Cup. This ends their 12-year absence from the tournament and sees them heading into Pool A alongside New Zealand, Australia and Wales come November. Spain beat Russia 27-0 to retain European Championship title in this final match as coach Jose Antonio Barrios saw his team win the 6th consecutive European Championship title. In light of the current circumstances in Ukraine, the match was only given the green light the day before. Spain produced a dominant performance with Russia never really threatening, and tries by Ducha, Garcia, Puig and Perez, and conversions by Garcia, Ducha and a penalty by Garcia. Rugby Europe announced that all competitions, matches or events on Russian territory, whether of national teams or clubs, were suspended until further notice. But as this game was in Spain, it went ahead. The match between Netherlands and Russia, set to take place on the 12th of March in Russia, will now not go ahead. Netherlands Rugby confirmed this on Saturday. This joins sanctions by World Rugby against Russia and Belarus. In line with recommendations by the International Olympic Committee, sanctions consist of the full and immediate suspension of Russia and Belarus from all international rugby and cross-border rugby, club rugby activities until further notice, and the full and immediate suspension of Rugby Union of Russia from World Rugby membership until further notice. World Rugby has announced Sally Horrocks will join as Director of Women's Rugby, effectively replacing Katie Sadler. Although the role title has changed to reflect the evolution in the role, Horrocks is a former non-executive director of England Netball, advisor to UEFA, International Football Federations and the FA. She has been involved in the development of the Vitality Netball Super League and the FA Women's Super League, bringing with her commercial, legal insight and knowledge. Her appointment brings key insight into opportunities of commercial, legal and strategic developments of the women's game as it moves towards professionalism. Moving over to your Arab Sevens results, and the second Arab Sevens took place in Tunis on the 25th and the 26th, which saw Tunisia come away with the win. Egypt, having won last year, and Tunisia were absent. Tunisia and Algeria entered this tournament, replacing Syria and Lebanon. Egypt came to defend their title, and the United Arab Emirates again took part in the 4-team competition. And in the final, Tunisia took on Egypt, and Tunisia walked away with a 49-5 victory in that final. This cements Tunisia as one of the promising upcoming Sevens nations in Africa. England under-18 women beat Scotland under-18 women 64-0 as part of their training camp in Tyndale, and England under-18 trained with a group of their Scottish counterparts, with Niamh Swaley's captaining the side. Another England camp will take place in Birmingham next month, and ahead of a National Centre of Excellence Festival at Burton RFC on 12 March, the first that will exhibit all 11 centres. British Universities Championship Bucks in Durham are your 2022 Bucks champions. They secured their 9th win in 10 matches on Wednesday to finish at the top of the table. They now enter the knockout stages of the Cup as the number 1 seed and prep to play again in the semi-final at home on the 16th of March. Female referees continue to make waves this weekend, with England's Nikki O'Donnell becoming the second woman ever to be a match official in refereeing a national number 1 game following Sarah Cox. She took charge of Leeds Tigers versus Birmingham Mosley on Saturday. Cooper Vuna, the Newcastle Falcons wing, joins DMP Sharks as new backs coach. The postponement round 14 of the Islands Premier 15s match between Gloucester Hartpury and Saracens has now been rearranged for Sunday, the 13th of March at 2 p.m. at Stone Egg Stadium. Harlequins signed USA International second row Jenny Cronish for the remainder of the season. Some interesting but saddening news from abroad. It is reported that the Souths Rugby Club, which hosts one of the premier women's sevens program in the Sydney Women's Rugby Union, has split from its men's counterpart in the club after Souths announced the pursuit of development of a 15-side, thereby diverting funding and support away from its established 7-side. According to their statement, the women and girls players then met and voted whether to either stay with the SDRC, the Southern Districts Rugby Club, or move to the newly established Boronia Women's Rugby Union Inc., established by the Sydney Women's Rugby Union under the Sydney Rugby Union. The players voted to move away from the SDRC. The board of Southern Districts Rugby Club has released a statement. However, there has been no official comment from the women's players themselves on the situation. United Arab Emirates Rugby Union signs a contract with the Kenyan rugby Olympian Philadelphia Orlando as head coach. Orlando, an Olympian for both Rio 2016 and Tokyo 2020. Orlando enjoys strong rugby profile and is believed to be very competent to lead the local fully Emirati women's teams in UAE. The UAE senior national women's team secured their first position in the West Asian tournament back in October last year, which took place in Doha, Qatar. Moving over to your league news, it was finals day for the NHL Island League this weekend, and Railway Union claimed back-to-back titles for the division final, winning 24-18 against Blackrock College. Suetonians outmuscled Gulfvians 26-0 to lift the conference trophy, and in the third and fourth place playoff, UI Bohemian won 19-17 against Old Belvedere, and with the seventh and eighth place playoff, Ballincollig lost against Wilklow, losing 31-0. In the ninth and 10th place playoff, Cook walked away with the win against Malone, winning 33-5. And that's it for the NHL Island League for now. It's been a cracking season to report on, and congratulations to Railway Union. Next, we look on to your Premier 15's results, and Bristol Bears lost at home against Saracens, losing that clash 30-26, while Harlequins get a 48-5 victory against the Sharks, and Exeter Chiefs get a home victory against Worcester Warriors, winning 67, with Loughborough Lightning getting a 19-all draw against Gloucester Hartpury. Sale Sharks get a loss at home against Wasps, losing 53-14, while the Saracens remain top of the table on 62 points, with Bristol Bears coming in second on 56. Harlequins and Exeter sit in the top four. And looking ahead at your fixtures, Bristol Bears will take on Loughborough Lightning, Exeter Chiefs will take on DMP Sharks, while Gloucester Hartpury will go head-to-head against Worcester Warriors, and Saracens will host Sale. And of course, the Wasps will take on Harlequins. Moving south in League 1 in France this weekend, and in round 12 in Pool 1, Lens got a home victory against Stade Rennais, winning 24-19, while ASM Roquebrune get a massive 47-0 against FC Grenoble. AC Boulogne lose at home against Stade Toulousain, losing that clash at 29-18, with Stade Francais on a bye. And moving over to Pool 2, Stade Bordeaux also getting a win at home against AS Béarnais, winning 25-0, while Blackneck Rugby also getting a massive 44-0 against Lyon. And RC Chile Mazarin didn't manage to get any points on the scoreboard against Montpellier, who walked away with a 39-0 victory. Lille was on a bye. Stade Toulousain lead Pool 1 on 43 points, and Montpellier move ahead of Stade Bordeaux to lead Pool 2 on 44 points. And looking at your fixtures this weekend in round 13 and in Pool 1, FC Grenoble will take on Lens, Stade Rennais will host AC Boulogne, while Stade Toulousain will take on Stade Francais, ASM Roquebrune on a bye. And in Pool 2, Lyon will take on Stade Bordeaux, AS Béarnais will take on RC Chile Mazarin, and Montpellier will host Lille, and Blackneck Rugby will be on a bye. Moving over to the English Championship in the North, Barnsley lost at home against Novocastrians, losing 22-19, while Loughborough Town get a win against Harrogate, winning 48-10, with Kenilworth getting a win against Sefton, winning 26-12. West Park Leeds didn't manage to get any points on the scoreboard against Cheltenham, who walked away with a 57-0 victory. Forward Waterloo versus Lichfield was deemed a home walkover. And looking at the South, Reading Abbey won against Buckingham Swans, winning that clash 36-15, while Bath get a 46-12 victory over Hove, and Blackheath lose at home against Thurrock, losing 26-14. Old Albanians get a victory at home against Richmond FC, winning 25-15, and Supermarines get a massive 82-0 against Henley. This weekend is a break in the championship, but there are some rescheduled matches taking place, including the West Park Leeds versus Harrogate and Loughborough Town in the north, and Hove taking on Reading Abbey. Old Albanians will take on Supermarines in the south. The hotly anticipated Super Rugby or PK season begins this weekend on Saturday, with the Blues taking on Chiefs Manawa and Matatu taking on Harrogans, and that will kick off at Owen Delaney Park. Sarah Herini will captain the Hurricane side, with Les Elder captaining Chiefs Manawa. Aroha Savage will take charge of the Blues, and Elena Bremner will be the first ever captain of the Matatu. And finally, the long-awaited return of the Buldy Corp Super W ends this Friday. On Friday, the tournament kicks off with Western Force taking on Queensland's Reds, and on Saturday, Melbourne Rebels will take on Fijian and Frua, and Brumbies will take on Waratahs. That's it from me. Catch you next week.
I'm Vicky Fleetwood, and you're listening to the Women's Rugby Pod.
Nadi, thank you very much indeed. Yeah, a lot of news coming around at the moment, and next week we will be reflecting a little bit more again on Ireland, actually, because one of the reviews is out on Friday. We're recording this Thursday. So we'll be reflecting on that, and as these squads begin to come in as well for the Six Nations, we'll be having a look at those as well. But this weekend, attention, certainly here in England, is on the Premier 15s, and what a finish we have to this season. We really, really do. It is so tight. It really, really is. If you do get a chance to go and see a Premier 15s game this weekend, then do. There's no many Six Nations. Get yourselves out there. Let your feet and your wallet do the talking, because it is so tight, and there's some must-win games for people this weekend. The table as it stands, Saracens and Gloucester, as you know, with that rearranged fixture, the only two haven't played 14, everyone else 15. Saracens, as you know, already qualified for the semi-finals. They will want a home semi-final, I'm sure. So they will try and keep the pressure going as well. But they're on 62 points. Bristol still in second on 56. Harlequins just 1 point behind on 55. Then come Exeter Chiefs on 51. Wasps 45. Loughborough 43. Gloucester Hartbury, as we say, with that game in hand on 37. That game in hand is against Saracens. And this weekend's fixtures, Wasps against Harlequins up at the Coventry Building Society Arena, I believe they call it up there, 12:30. Bristol Bears host Loughborough Lightning, 2:30 at Shaftesbury Park. All on Saturday these. Exeter against DMP Durham Sharks, that one's 2:30 as well. Gloucester Hartbury, 5:30. Kingsholm up against Worcester Warriors. That'll be a good fixture as well. And then Sunday, at the Stonex, all repaired now. Saracens against Sale Sharks from 2 o'clock. The only other thing to mention with the Premier 15s is a big shout out as we near the end of this episode to Mackenzie Thomas Roberts for 50 caps for DMP at the weekend. Many congratulations to you. I know a real stalwart of the club, so brilliant achievement, well done you. Next week we'll have a review on the review, that Irish review, the first of two, and we'll be looking back at a real crucial round of Premier 15's results as well this year. Those real must-win games, aren't they? I think that Wasps have got to win to stay in the hunt. Gloucester Hartbury, little local derby there against the Warriors. So yeah, we'll be looking back at those, and of course we'll have all the news from around the world as well. Huge thank you to Lindsay Pete for coming on the pod. Massive thank you to Tom and to Bluebell. Nandy, thank you for your energy. Everybody stay safe, keep smiling. See you next week.